I spent this last week doing intensive improv in London. For those of you who don't know what improv is, I'm talking about improvising, and you might think of that scene in The Office where Michael Scott is running around shooting everyone.
Boom! Freeze! Michael Schoon, FBI, you know what you did! Boom! Boom! Boom!
To a degree, that is improv. But I think of improv as something that's almost quite spiritual. And bear with me, because I think it's the kind of thing that everyone could benefit from. Improv at its core has 2 or 3 main tenets, one of which is allowing the people that you're doing improv with, accepting the idea that we're all going to fail, we're all going to mess up, and we'll find a lot of joy in it, honestly. There's a lot of joy to be found in getting on stage, doing something a little bit cringe, and we're all on the same page. Failing is okay. You learn from failure. There's this game that we play at the beginning of the improv sessions where let's say just think of any drama game. Okay, everyone has to say a fruit that begins with or an animal that begins with the letter B, and I say bumblebee, and the next person says. They can't think of anything. Great, they can't think of anything. They say cow. That's obviously wrong. So what are we all gonna do? We're all gonna stand in a circle and we're all gonna go awooga. I know you're looking at the screen right now. You can feel the secondhand cringe bleeding through the screen. But the point is, yes, it is cringe. We're all going to look silly. You looked a little bit silly. But guess what? No one died. Didn't hurt, really. And you make mistakes. And you get better at, dealing with mistakes and just moving along to the next thing. There's this philosophy in improv that is, to every idea that you have when you come into a scene, every idea that you have when you want to say something funny, hold on to it so very dearly because it's the best idea that you've ever had. But the moment it doesn't work for the scene, you just discard it. You just get rid of it. You love it tightly, kill it easily, something like that. I don't know, that's the saying. I don't know. That's the kind of philosophy that comes with improv. And I think you can extrapolate that into a life philosophy so incredibly easily. This idea of be passionate about the things you really, really care about. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't serve you anymore, if it doesn't serve your story, your friends, your family, if it's not working, it's okay to just get rid of things. Things don't need to be so heavily tied to our identities, who we are. We don't need to get so high-strung about them. And 9 times out of 10, the worst thing that can happen is you will look a little bit silly. That's okay. Get comfortable with that. So that's at the core of improv. And then the second thing that, you've probably heard of when it comes to improv is the idea of yes and. When we're doing a scene together, you and I, yes, you, at the end of the camera, we're doing a scene, right? And you tell me that there's, let's go for a really basic, example. You say, I love this, that we're doing this train ride together to the Netherlands. I don't block you. I don't say, no, we're not going to the Netherlands and we're not on a train. We're actually on the moon and I'm a pirate. That's silly. We're trying to build something together. We're trying to build a scene. So instead what I'll do is I'll say, yes, it's been so long since we've done this, brother. So now what we've done is I've agreed to your proposition that we're on a train and we're going to the Netherlands together. And I've added a building block to it that you're my brother and we haven't done this in so long. So this is the idea of improv. It's about bringing bricks and creating, I guess, a building together. You don't need to bring the whole story in, you just do that. Now, this idea of yes and, again, works as a life philosophy. It's just looking around for opportunity and seeing what you can, contribute to it to make something bigger. It's kind of a weird level of, optimism that a lot of people don't have in their real life that I think you could get from studying improv, because life is full of opportunities where you'll miss them if only you don't go, yes, and here's what I add to that. I think there's some wisdom in there. The wisdom probably sounds a lot more wise when I haven't just recently said awooga, and I don't sound incredibly run down. But these are the things that I love about improv. The first 2 intensive weeks I did were actually last year, back when Tears of the Kingdom was coming out. I don't know why that's the mark of it, but back when Tears of the Kingdom was coming out, I did 2 intensive weeks. Now I'm on to my level 3, which is another intensive week of improv, which I've just done, and it's getting a lot more heady. Now we're talking about the stuff that probably can't be adapted into a life philosophy. It is just sort of the improv technique. It's talking about how we identify when we're doing a scene together, what the rules of the scene are, what is the game that we're playing together, how do we help each other on stage, create better scenes, enrich characters, and make better offers for each other to accept that ultimately lead to more exciting things for a viewer to watch. As such, in the coming days, I have a live performance in London where I'm doing an improv show. Now look, I've been a YouTuber for the last 10 years, okay? I love that I can just film a video, and if I don't like it, I can edit it, and if I don't like the edit, I can just scrap it and I can refilm it. That's not how improv works, and the stakes feel so unbelievably low when you're in rehearsal with other people doing improv, but now we're talking about opening it up to the public and getting the general public in. Now, they're not paying for tickets. They're not paying for tickets. It's a free show, and it's mostly going to be friends and family and that kind of thing. But nonetheless, I'm going to be doing some very cringe shit in front of people I don't know, and I'm truly excited for it. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm super anxious as well, but I think anxiety and excitement are like this. And the worst thing that can happen in this scenario is that I go on stage and I flop and I'm super unfunny. And the 25 minutes that I'm on stage pass, and people go home and they go, oh, that Toby, he wasn't very funny at all. Ugh, he brought the whole show down, actually made me cry. And then I get on with my life. I tried something, I failed, but I feel better for doing it and knowing that I can survive that. I don't think that's what will happen. I think what will probably happen is I'll go and I will perform a show that's probably about an adequate level for a level 3 improviser who has, only done these kind of 3 or 4 intensive weeks of study. It will probably not be the best improvised scene in the world. It will probably just be okay. And it'll be a great learning experience for me. But the worst case scenario, the stakes are so unbelievably low that it'll still be all right. Maybe that's true, or maybe I'm just trying to talk myself into it. Anyway, if you want to see some cool improv, I really recommend checking out Middlebitch and Schwartz on Netflix. It's a show that I keep on watching. There's only 3 episodes, 3 specials. That's like the mastery of improv shows. Also, I wanted to shout out, I've got an Instagram account that has been a private Instagram account for the last 10 years while I've been a full-time YouTuber. I am now accepting all people who want to check out that account. That's Toby Rivers, which is my new stage name. And the improv training is just part of the various bits of training I'm going to be doing as I try to explore the world of acting. So there's my thoughts on improv as a life philosophy. I hope you'll follow my super secret Instagram account, Toby Rivers, where you'll see my new headshots and all of the other things of the like. I'm sure I'll share more with you on my acting journey soon, and I hope I haven't made you cringe too much. I bet when I look at the YouTube pretension of this, you'll see big drops at the moments that I said, "Awooga!"